Hey, welcome to another podcast episode. The name of my guest is Banu. Banu built her UX design career following her education in linguistics and sociology, and she worked on UX strategy, digital, and TV advertising. She cares about building uncomplicated digital experience around the needs of the user and the business. Banu is also passionate about music, so she might be thinking of switching to full-time musician one day. Banu, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Fine, Nathaniel, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you very much for taking your time to be part of my podcast. And so you recently moved to Germany, right? It's just 4 years now.
Yes, it's been 4 years actually. It was end of 2016, and before I was in Istanbul, and moved here with my software engineer partner, and have been living in Berlin since then. And happy.
Great. So how come that so many Turkish software developers are in Berlin? They even have, as far as I know, there's a meetup for Android developers just for Turkish people. So that means the tech software engineering community for Turkish people is really huge here in Berlin.
Yeah.
How come?
Yeah.
Do you know anything about that?
I think some time ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I cannot tell correctly the time when this thing started, but I think the EU Blue Card was a good option for Turkish people because Germany is also not a country too far away, and there's this thing in Turkey in many people that having an experience, a work experience abroad, bringing you a lot of extra points, to be honest. So it's also something maybe something bright and shiny to work abroad. That's why people are preferring to come to Germany and gain more experiences, work experience abroad. Of course, people started to just come here one by one, and everybody has 2 or 3 friends just coming here, so they are telling each other, okay, it's going very well here, so why don't you try a sector? So it's like it doesn't look something that hard and big anymore, so it's a very very easy or feasible thing to change location. And as I said, it's also not too far away, not too hard to come here, in my opinion. But of course, many people have different opinions about this, let's say, fad.
And you want to talk about how you got into tech in general. So maybe you can just give a brief introduction, who you are, who's Banu, where you come from, a little bit about your background, education, and so on.
Sure. Well, I'm a product designer, and I've been in UX in Berlin for 4 years. I started as I came, but actually I also have a past back in Turkey, but I cannot say that all the years I worked actively in Turkey, I was a UX designer. First of all, my education is not on design, and I work literature, linguistics, and sociology. And after the time I was trying to finalize my MA thesis, I started to work in a local agency. And at that local agency, I was responsible from preparing wireframes, information architecture, doing user research, getting involved in meetings to understand client needs, and also as well doing the content strategy, copywriting, etc. So it was my first touch point with UX. But the thing is, I also didn't do the UI design, and we also didn't have UI designers. The setting was completely different than what we have today. We had the graphical designers, and I did the prior work, and they just prepared everything. And we didn't have the UX titles then, even though doing somehow UX work. So as I said, that was my first touch point, and later almost 2.5 years I worked in similar roles in 2 different local agencies, and then later I switched to advertising, actually, which is kind of a twist in my story. And at advertising, I of course took up similar responsibilities, but this was much more around marketing campaigns or big brands such as my clients Starbucks or Sensodyne or many other local brands. And after the agency, the digital agency, I also worked at TV, which is also kind of interesting part of my work history. But looking back, actually, I even though I did partially UX research or strategy, let's say, and also worked at advertising, I think that it helped me. It's helping me today. Not help me. It's helping me today. I just correct myself because especially in advertising, I really learned to work with real insights, customer insights, and real directions from the clients, such as the stakeholders we have today, and just they are kind of sharing the clients sharing their business needs, their insights, all the data they have, and you put that data into a campaign, into a creative work. So it's not the exact thing I'm doing right now, but it's kind of a good training to learn to work with data as a designer. And basically it is, and this is of course the Turkey part of my background. And as I also mentioned, I moved here 4 years ago, and when I came here, I had a one mind-opening moment. It was maybe my first month here or something like that, because I was still not sure about should I go into advertising, I did something on TV. I was a what was the title was called creative projects executive. It's a very specific title, right? So I was doing campaigns or creating ideas for TV advertising. So I was also considering that. But one day I got an offer, not an offer. I got a call from SoundCloud for UX writing, because I had previous experiences in my resume, and they were interested in that. And I was just preparing my portfolio, just trying to find things I did in the past. But yeah, I'm a very bad recorder. I didn't store anything as a portfolio. I never had that in my mind. But I found some stuff on Behance, and I just realized that I was actually trying to do some visual too. And just kind of opened my mind. I rejected that position. I told them that I'm not considering UX writing. And I just sat down at home and created a plan. Of course, this is not that quick. I'm just telling this something happening magical at one day. But I just said, after this mind-opening moment, I just sat down at home, created my plan, and started to wrap up all my previous knowledge and kind of merging that knowledge with the new skills such as UI design. And I started learning Sketch. I already used Photoshop and Illustrator from before, but it was not UI oriented. So I just focused on learning UI and created concept works, and actually started to build up my portfolio with no previous design work experience.
So you had actually zero experience in design, and you just started learning like that. Wow, that's great.
Well, I can't say it was zero experience, because I had the interest. I had some, self-work, but it was, of course, misguided. I didn't have a career opinion on my mind. I didn't know where to go, etc. I was just opening up Photoshop, Illustrator, etc., and just doing some stuff myself. It was just, that's it. But I had this, let's say, this intention or interest. Yeah, interest is the right word. I always had this interest, and I was not much conscious about that interest in design, actually. So yeah.
Were you using any learning resources? That books, maybe workshops or courses, something you could recommend for anybody who's looking forward?
I can recommend a couple of resources. For the UI part, actually, I don't. Maybe there are a lot of things. There are a lot of blogs, a lot of amazing sources to learn Sketch. Or right now, Figma is also very, very popular, right? People also can try that. There are many sources to learn UI. I actually didn't follow just one thing. I was just searching for instance, if I'm trying to learn some technical stuff on Sketch, if I'm blocked, I was just searching for that and finding the solution on the internet and just going on with that. That was my learning flow, actually. But I'm not sure if the sources I will mention have this exact courses, but you can, for the UI and for the much more technical design part, you can check the lectures on designcode.io, designcode.io. It has amazing courses. I'm not sure if if it has trial lessons, because I was a subscribed user recently, but they have very good lectures on multiple topics, not only in design. If you're interested and if you want to become a designer with an understanding of development also, you can also check some courses there. Besides this, you can, if you don't have any experience in UX, you can attend the workshops, the online workshops, the courses on the Interaction Design Foundation website. It's also a very valuable source. And you can, I can recommend just watching the podcast of the High Resolution. That they are having interviews with very famous leads, design leads.
Right.
They are teaching a lot, actually. So I can count a lot of if you can't stop
I'm
me.
just going to add them to the video description, and you don't have to just mention all of them. We
exactly,
can add
exactly.
them later to the video description.
More on the description. Right.
And which did you had any challenges during your learning? During the time you were switching, with any challenges you were facing, and if so, how were you able to overcome these challenges?
Well, I don't remember two big challenges during this time I was trying to make the switch. Actually, I came to Berlin. I worked on creating my portfolio on the concept works, and it was actually 4 or 3 months later I got an offer from a small startup as a designer, as a UX designer. So it was a very, very quick start. I wasn't even expecting that quick, because it's a new country, you don't know about anything. You also cannot compare your skills yourselves with the industry. So it was very, unexpected, but good news for me, of course. But maybe not as a challenge, but one thing I did a lot not to be in a challenged position was working hard. Just reading a lot, learning a lot, just creating concepts, etc. Never staying without doing nothing. Always creating something. Always trying to learn. That was the way I managed to overcome the challenges. But of course, maybe other designers can tell better stories about these challenges. Maybe if you can ask specific questions, maybe we can find some challenging points I maybe don't remember at this moment.
All right. And if you could start all over again, are there certain career or certain jobs you had in the past that you would skip and instead do UX design or UX research? Or would you do it the exact same way all over again?
Well, I would really like to pick the direct way. Of course, my path was really indirect, just working in agencies with very, very different titles from what I've been doing. Some of them calling you copywriter, some of them calling you content strategist, some of them calling you UX strategist, etc., etc. So it was kind of maybe not the best time to be in this for my let's say age and for my era, let's say. I would, of course, start directly. But on the other hand, I feel lucky because I worked in advertising. This may sound really awkward because advertising has the worst working conditions anyone can tell, and that's real. I remember leaving agency 8 in the morning, working without a stop, 24 hours, etc. So it was really stressful, and no one was being happy from what you do, etc. It was really stressing for me. But on the other hand, it was my childhood dream to become an advertiser. I was dreaming of a local prize, advertising prize. Actually, I'm not sure if I'm using the right word by prize. Award, sorry, not a prize, award. Yeah, it was. It's called the Crystal Apple. So I was really yearning for having that one day. So I'm lucky that I managed to have that, and thanks to also, of course, my team working together. It was a campaign for Starbucks
in Turkey.
Yeah, in Turkey, and we managed to get that award. It was nice, and that was actually the moment I left the agency anyway.
Alright.
So
They didn't kick you out because you did.
not actually, not actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I just got an offer from
Alright, so-
TV's a bigger, better place, Fox International. So yeah, but yeah, yeah, it's not clear maybe what I say. I would really pick the direct way, but on the other hand, of course, I'm happy that I could manage to live my dream. It's not something I'm still, considering if I could.
All right. Great. Let's talk a little about the UI UX design research community in Turkey. How is it? Is it popular? Is it something people are looking forward to dive into? For example, if you're walking down the street and someone would ask you, get into a conversation with, let's say, elderly person, and that person might ask you, "Hey, where are you working?" And you're like, "UI UX design." By the way, how do you? Is there a term for it in Turkish?
Of course we have, but
How's it
direct
called?
translation. It's
How's
just,
it?
I can say kullanıcı deneyimi. Kullanıcı deneyimi.
Okay.
It's the direct translation of user experience,
All right.
actually. Yeah.
And so if you tell that to, let's say, someone who's not into tech, for example, how would they react? Is it something they're like, yeah, I know about it. I know someone who worked there, or is it like completely alien to them? They don't know about this kind of.
Well, first of all, actually, I've been away from the market in Turkey for 4 years. And the last time I was in Turkey, the last time I was in the professional world, I wasn't working as a designer or a UX person. So it's kind of hard for me to tell. But I can, on the other hand, I can just mention something that I believe there are very, very talented designers in Turkey. Of course, many of the universities has design departments. They are focusing on graphic design, even offline design, right, print design, etc. But I can observe that it's not something rare to see quality work. So I really appreciate that. But for UX and UI and UX design, it's actually. As far as I can observe from the job posts, etc., it's drawing attention. It's becoming something, let's say, popular. But of course, not as much as here. When you compare the market size, also in Turkey, the technology market is not as wide as here. Of course, there are very strong, very good companies, especially in fintech, which is doing amazing job. The size is not so big, so this is kind of automatically narrowing down the open positions, possible positions for UX designers, and it's also directly affecting the popularity of that position. But it's, of course, this is not a hopeless situation, in my opinion.
Great. And there is also bootcamps, meetups for UI UX designer also in Turkey.
I'm not much sure of that if in Turkey, because I know a lot in Germany, in Berlin, but I'm not sure about the boot camps. And also this is also because if there isn't too many or enough boot camps in Turkey, based in Turkey, this might be because of people are preferring learning things in the foreign language, and people are planning their career abroad. This might be one possible reasons if there aren't any boot camps, but maybe there are things unknown to me. Okay. I really don't want to talk very certain about this.
All right. And if you compare your experience in your work in UI UX design in Turkey and compare it with your experience here in Germany, what are, like, say, the major differences that you've noticed?
Well, I will repeat the thing that actually there is a huge time in between, because my first touch point with UX in Turkey was 2012. It's 8 years ago, right? And right now things improved and developed a lot, etc. So I'm not sure if it would be a fair comparison. But one thing is that maybe rather than comparing, I can just mention some similarities from 2012 and what I see in 2020. One funny thing is people somehow are still independent of the location, independent of the country, and independent of the 8 years in between. What I observe is that people consider this is the digital design is not something you should be interacting with, and they perceive it like many people, not my fellow designers, not the talented designers or experiences. I don't mean, but just general idea in the public. I mean, they think that it's like a picture, right? It's like something, a print work, an offline work. So you are not expected to interact with that, and they approach design with this mentality in mind. If these people are having companies, and if these people want to hire designers, they somehow cannot see this differentiation between, right, a digital designer and a print designer. So yeah, this thing is used to happen in 2012. We had the print designers just seeing it like a static picture, and unfortunately I see in 2012 in another location, in another time, I can see some people also just approach design like this. So yeah, this can be some comparison I can make about this.
Okay, all right. And so after being in UX design for such a long time, do you think that this profession is underrated, kind of? Because if you are software developer, you're in a room and you say, I'm a software developer, people are like, yeah, software developer, this person must be very smart, this person must be doing something really important. But something like UX designer, do you have the feeling that people like looking down upon a profession like that? Or do you have that feeling, or have you experienced something like that people doesn't take your work as serious as a product owner? Software developer.
Yeah. Well, it used to be exactly like that, as you mentioned. The developers are the smartest people, and they should be, let's say,
treated differently.
They are the special people, etc. And designers are kind of they are not doing that much hard work. It's easy. Well, I think as I said, it was like that previously, but maybe since 1 year or 1.5 years, let's say, maybe I'm being too optimistic, but it's improving. And for instance, the salaries and the side benefits, etc. If we can mention, if we can compare over these tangible things, are matching up with the developer salaries, or companies are putting much more importance on UX design. Sometimes you can't even, as a designer, you get used to this feeling just being underestimated, or people or your, let's say, bosses not being too serious with you. But once they started to get serious, they put much more importance on UX. Sometimes you can't even believe yourself as a designer. Okay, they are trusting me. Oh my goodness, I'm doing something very important. It's a very, very, very interesting feeling. But I'm happy it's getting much better. Maybe it's in Germany. I'm not sure. I'm not much familiar with the market in USA or any other country, but I'm optimistic actually.
Okay, great. And how did people notice you when you were working in Turkey? Did you had a blog? Did you had something present? Were you present on the internet, social media, and German companies saw your work and they reached out to you, or how was it? Or were you actively applying to companies in Germany?
Well, I actually applied after I moved to Germany. So, but I had a portfolio. I prepared it very carefully in a very good looking way.
Wait. So before you moved to Germany, you didn't had a job before you moved to Germany?
I had a job. I was in the Fox International channels. I was in advertising before.
In Turkey?
Yeah, in Turkey.
So you moved to Germany. When you were working in Germany, you were working from Germany, but your employee was in Turkey.
No. Maybe I just didn't tell it clearly. At the end of 2016, I moved to Germany, and at that time, before 2016, I was working at Fox International Channels it was located in Turkey. It was a Turkish company, and at the end of 2016, I moved to Berlin, and I decided on proceeding on UX design. I created my own portfolio and applied for jobs in Berlin.
In Berlin, okay.
Is
All
it
right.
clear?
Oh yeah, it's much better now.
Yeah, it's stressing too.
So so you were actively applying for a job in here in Berlin. All right, great. And then people reached out to you, company reached out to you, and that's how it all started.
Actually, the first job offer was very interesting. As I remember mentioning right now, is that I wasn't expecting to get an offer that soon, and I wasn't applying yet. I only had my portfolio on Behance, and a small company, very small startup, was just searching for people designing mobile apps, etc. So they just saw my portfolio and sent me a message over Behance, and I said, really, okay, you really want to talk to me right now? And yeah, we talked, and I started immediately. That was the initial story. But of course, later I kept improving my portfolio. I created UX case studies just to let's say create something much more impressive and reflecting what I have been doing as a UX designer. And yeah, it just went on after.
Great. Did you have a mentor when you started?
I didn't have an official mentor, let's say, or I didn't attend any official, let's say, bootcamp or stuff, except the online workshops of Interaction Design Foundation. But one thing which helped me a lot is, of course, my partner is a software engineer, and from day one I had the understanding and I had the opportunity to work closely with the developer. Of course, back in 2012 and 2013, my job involved a lot of interaction with the developers, but this advertising break in between kind of cooled me out of the design and development, let's say, communication cycle. But my partner really helped me a lot to overview what I have done, etc. So yeah, he was my mentor, I can say.
All right, great. All right, we're almost done. So you're into music, right?
Yes, a lot. Yes.
A lot. You've been doing a lot of music lately. Yeah. And I was thinking, okay, you're really good at it. And is this something can you think of yourself switching to full-time music?
Well, first of all, I really like design. It's a very, very satisfying thing to just meet.
I hope this question doesn't put you in trouble when it comes.
Political,
your
I'm
team,
being political. Everybody's watching. Yeah, joking. Well, I really like. I'm actually, this is a question I'm also asking to myself, and I really like design. But of course, all in all, it's a desk job, so I can prefer music if I really. Actually, the real context can tell it. But if I really see a good opportunity, if I feel comfortable, if I have the same comfort as I have in UX, I may consider. Or if I have a lot of time, if I have 27 hours in one day, sorry, not 20, 72 hours in a one day, I can consider doing both. Yeah.
Great. And you've already produced something, published something.
Yeah, I am actually sharing cover songs on my YouTube channel, on my Instagram. I published something on Spotify, but it was actually a trial work for me, and I'm not 100% happy with that. But for this year, I'm planning to release an EP with for 5 songs, just with a much more improved musician approach.
Interesting. All right, Banu. Thank you very much for being my guest. Thank you for taking your time to come over and share your experience, your skills, and where can people reach you?
Maybe I can just share some link on the description part.
Yeah, sure. I'm just gonna add.
They can ask me
Instagram and
maybe Twitter, because I use Instagram for my music, etc. But
okay.
if they have any questions about my design journey, they can use the link you'll provide in the description.
Okay, so you're also open to people who might be interested in UI UX design, and they might have some more questions I didn't ask you here, and you're also open to share more if there's something.
I am actually just independent of the physical realities of time.
Okay.
I'm of course open to help people as much as I can, but actually I'm really short in time. It's very hectic for me nowadays because of this music project, as well the project I'm tackling right now as my job. So if I cannot promise and reply, hopefully people won't get sad with it.
Yeah, but they can reach out to you.
Yeah, of course.
Hopefully maybe give them some
Yeah.
feedback. All right, thank you very much. Thank you for listening. Bye bye. See you.